All right, so as you're joining us, make sure you have your homework out and you are correcting your homework.
What page is this again?
Page 27. I lost my mouse. Where'd my mouse go? There we go. Well, let me open up my chat. How did I do on this page? Did I get them all right? Do you have any questions?
Yes, but we can't see 21 and 22.
I'm not done correcting.
You can't. Can everybody not see 21 and 22?
You can see
I
it. But
I can see 21
I can see it.
and 20.
I
Okay,
can
so
make
you
a
make
picture.
move your screen up a little bit then. And on 21, it
I
asks
see it
for
now.
a fraction and a decimal. So you need to write both your fraction and your decimal, okay? You need to make sure you're reading them closely. If you only wrote the decimal, you would have lost half a point on that one. 22. Oh, it does say a fraction and a decimal. Look at that. I lost half a point on that one.
I can't see the bottom.
Okay, so you might need to adjust your screen if you can't see the bottom.
What I did was I took my mouse off like the zoom part and took it off to the side so then I could see it. So then the bar at the bottom's not blocking it.
Awesome. Great tip. All right, any other questions on any of these before I move on to the next page? I know some of you might not have had a chance to finish. I will upload it to Otis. Next side. Pages are sticking together. There you go. Oh, rolling.
Bleh.
Stay. Any questions on these?
Miss Chiplet,
Yes.
my page is stuck together and I accidentally did the back of homework 2 too.
So maybe today you can
I
just
did
make
too.
sure you do this one and the other one because you'll already have the back side of today's homework done. Other questions?
I don't think so.
You guys need another minute? Morgan, I see your hand is up.
On number 8, yours says 220,
Yep.
235, but I got 1327 35ths because it's adding.
So let's see. Your common denominator is 35 like mine, right? Why did this is an adding problem. And I subtracted.
Yeah, I got that same answer, but I just thought I was wrong.
Thank you. Nope, that's why I tell you guys, because I do a lot of times what you guys do, and I rush to get through them. And so
On number
I
8,
also. So it should be 27 over 35 and 13. Is that what you got, Morgan?
Yes.
I got that too.
Awesome. Thank you for checking my work. I think I heard another question out there. No, no more questions? Did you guys do okay on stretch your thinking? Hopefully you did it and you didn't just see stretch your thinking and think, too hard, gonna skip. All right, so we're good with homework? All right, let's set homework aside and take out our student activity books. Lesson 2-2 on page 41. This is that lesson where we start talking about how we say the decimals and how we write the decimals in standard form and word form and expanded form. All of those things like you guys have done previous years with numbers, we're doing with decimals also, okay? So they start off with a place value chart for us. And you can see we have our thousands, hundreds, tens, and ones. So those are all the things to the left of our decimal point, right? If I was gonna add in a mark for my decimal would live right here, okay? That's where my decimal is going to be. Anything to the left of the decimal is greater than 1. Anything to the right of the decimal is less than 1. Okay? So our ones place is in orange because we don't have a once, right? We start with ones. That's kind of like the beginning point. And we would write 1 as 1. As a fraction, it would be 1/1. Or if we were thinking about it in money, it would be like $1. As we move to the left, we get to the tens, no TH on the end, the tens, 10/1, $10. Hundreds is 100, 100/1, $100. Thousands is 1,000, 1,000/1, $1,000. And each time we move one place to the left, we're getting 10 times larger. Right? 10 is 10 times larger than 1. 100 is 10 times larger than 10. And 1,000 is 10 times larger than 100. Let's look to the right of our decimal point. To the right of our decimal point, we get into those smaller numbers, the ones that are less than 1. So 1/10, 0.1, 1/10. When we're reading these numbers, we use the word and for our decimal. We don't use the word point. We don't use the word decimal. So this would be 0 and 1/10. Okay? As a fraction, it's 1/10. And as money, we have a dime. For our hundredths, again, we have that THS because it's to the right of the decimal. It's 0 and 1/100th. As a fraction, it's 1/100, and it's a penny because there's 100 pennies in $1. And then moving one more time over, we get to the thousandths, the THS. 1,000th, 0 and 1,000, 1/1,000, or 1,000th of a cent. So a penny broken into 10 pieces, one of those pieces. Okay? And each time we move to the right, we're getting 10 times smaller. So it'd be like dividing by 10. And that's the same for over here. 1,000 is 10 times smaller than 100. I'm sorry, 100 is 10 times smaller than 1,000. 10 is 10 times smaller than 100. Okay? So just if you're moving to the right across this chart, you're dividing by 10. You're getting 10 times smaller. If you're moving to the left on this chart, you're getting 10 times larger, or you're multiplying by 10. Okay? Does this place value chart kind of make sense? Do we kind of understand how that works?
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions? So let's take a look at the back side of this because that's where the actual work is going to come into play. And they're going to review with us these different forms of our numbers. Our standard form is just writing out the number as we would for a math answer normally, right? It's just the numbers, the decimals, whatever we need for that. Word form is when we actually put it into words. And yes, you need to write out the numbers also. Okay, we don't do like shortcut word form where you get to write the number in number form. You need to write it all in word form. And if you'll notice, numbers like 35 and 26, they have this hyphen in between them, this dash. So 25, 36, 42, those types of numbers need to have a hyphen between them. Okay? Expanded form, we take a look at the place value of each number and we write it out. And then the new one for you guys this year, the rest of these we've done before, the new one is this expanded form, powers of 10. And that's, oh, Landon, are you excited about this part? That's where you would say, okay, 30 is the same as 3 times 10. So you're just taking that first digit and thinking, what do I multiply it by to get it to that place value? So 30 is 3 times 10. 5 is 5 times 1. 200 is 2 times 100. And 6 thousandths is 6 times 1 over 1,000. Okay, I know that's a lot to just look at, so let's do some together. My first one doesn't have any decimals, so that one should be a big time review from previous years. 12,402. So that's how I'm going to write it in word form. 12,402. Now notice, I know a lot of times when you say a number like that, you would say 12,402. But what did we just talk about that and means? What does and mean?
Decimal.
And means a decimal. Is there a decimal in this number? No, so we can't say 12,402. Okay, so we have to get rid of that and unless there's a decimal. We're just gonna write 12,402. Expanded form, we're gonna start with the 1 first. The 1 is in the 10,000s place, right? So 10,000 plus, my 2 is in the thousands place, 2,000 plus, my next digit over is a 4, 400. My next digit is a 0. Do I need to put anything in my expanded form for that 0?
No.
No. And so my next digit is a 2, plus 2. You guys shaking off the cobwebs? You're remembering how to do these?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay. So then the next part is where we get to the powers of 10. So we're going to take the first digit here, which is a 1, times, what place is that 1 in?
The 10,000.
It's in the 10,000s place. So that's going to be 1 times 10,000. And then we're going to say plus. My next digit is a 2. 2 times, what place is that 2 in?
1. 1,000.
It's in the thousands place. So it's 2 times 1,000. Plus, my next digit is my 400. So it's going to be 4 times, what? What place is it in?
100.
100. Then my next one is going to be 2 times, what place is that 2 in?
The 1.
1.
The 1's place, so 2 times 1. So there's my expanded form powers of 10. Woo! A lot of work for those. Ready for the next one?
Yeah.
All right, let's go for the next one.
I don't
Don't see any questions or hands up.
I don't really understand this.
No problem, Carter. We're still going, buddy. Okay? So just keep following along. And if you have questions, make sure you stick on when we're done with the teaching part, when we get to homework, so I can keep working with you. Okay? So 8 and. What does that and tell me? What's going to happen where that and is?
Decimal.
Decimal.
A decimal point. So I'm going to have 8 and I'm going to write this number that it says here, 305 thousandths. 8 and 305 thousandths. Okay? Now for good old expanded form, I just have an 8. I'm going to do it digit by digit. 8 plus, I'm going to pretend like that 8 is a 0 now, and I'm just looking at my 3. 8 plus 3/10 plus, I don't need to do anything for the 0, so now I'm on to my 5. It's in the thousandths place. 5 thousandths. Okay? And then my power is a 10. What place is that 8 in?
Ones.
It's in the ones place, so 8 times 1.
Miss Triplet,
Yes.
the number 2, or when it says 8 and 305 thousandths, was the 8 not a decimal because it was before and?
Correct. Good question. So 8 times 1 plus, I've got a 3 in there. 3 times what? What place is that 3 in?
A 10.
A 10 times 1/10 plus 5 times, what place value is that 5 in?
A thousand.
The thousandth place, so it's going to be 5 times 1,000. Okay. We okay with that? Ready for the next one?
Yeah.
This one, they give us an expanded form, and we have to write the other forms for it. So expanded form, I'm going to look at the numbers that don't have decimals first. So 70 plus 2. What's 70 plus 2?
72.
72. Everything else is behind a decimal, so I know I'm going to need a decimal. 4/10 plus 3/100 is going to be 43/100. Okay. Expanded form, powers of 10. My 7 times what?
Times 10.
Times
Times 10, because that 10 is in, or the 7 is in the tens place. Plus 2 times what?
1.
One.
1, because the 2 is in the ones place. Plus 4 times what?
4.1.
4/10.
I love who I heard say 4/10. It's not 0.1, right, friends? We got to say it correctly. We need to sound like mathematicians. 1/10, 4 times 1/10, because the 4 is in the tenths place. Plus 3 times what? 100th, I heard. 0.01, because the 3 is in the hundredths place. Good, good. Are we ready for our word form?
Yeah.
All right, let's look at what we have there first. What's that?
That's an 8.
72, right?
Oh.
Right, just those two numbers right there,
Oh.
sorry. 72. 70, and this is one of those hyphenated ones, 72. I have my decimal. How do I say decimal?
And.
And 72, and I've got my number here. What number is that?
43 100ths.
43/100. Squeezed it all the way over there. Make sure you have that THS. If you don't have the THS, it's not correct. Okay, because that means it would be to the left of the decimal point. We want to make sure this is to the right of the decimal point. All right, let's take a look at our last one. The last one they give us in that expanded notation powers of 10, expanded form powers of 10. So 4 times 10,000. What's 4 times 10,000?
40,000.
40,000. I'm
40,000.
just going to put down my 4. 2 times 1,000. What's that? My 2 is going to be in the thousands place.
Yes, 2,000.
42,000.
Do I have anything in the hundreds place?
No.
No. So what do I
we
need to
just
put
put a
there?
0.
Just put a 0.
I need a 0. If I don't put that 0 placeholder, my number's going to come up wrong. So I need to put a 0 in there for a placeholder. So 4 10,000s, 2,000s, 0 hundreds. How many 10s do I have?
3,
3,
3. How many 1s?
5.
5,
And then I get to my decimal, right? What's in my tenths place?
2 tenths.
2 tenths.
What's in my hundredths place?
0.
Nothing. 0.
Nothing.
0. I like it. Because see how I go from tenths to thousandths? So I have a 0 in my hundredths place, and then
And then
a 2
it's 2.
in my thousands.
2,000.
Woo, that's a big number. Now we have to write it in word form. Holy schmoly. So I'm going to start with my 42,000. 40 hyphen 2,000. Am I going to say 42,035?
No.
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 I'm going to save onto that and, right? 42,035. Hyphen between those. Now I have my ands. I'm going to look at just this number. How would I read just this number by itself?
202.
200, not and.
Two.
Not 202.
202.
202. I'm going to write it down here and I'll move my expanded form down. 202. And what place value is that last 2 in?
Thousandths.
Thousandths. Woo! They saved the long one for last, huh? Give you guys a minute to get that one copied down.
Mrs. Triplet, my internet kind of crashed for a second.
Okay. So we
when
just
you were-
finished writing our word form.
Okay.
And now for our expanded form. When they give us the expanded form powers of 10, writing the normal expanded form is kind of easy because I'm just going to solve each one of these. So what is 4 times 10,000?
40,000.
40,000. Plus, what's 2 times 1,000?
2,000.
2,000.
2,000. Plus, what's 3 times 10?
30.
30.
30. Plus, what's 5 times 1?
5.
5.
5. Plus, what's 2 times 1/10?
2
0.
times.
Oh,
Two
yeah, 2 tenths.
0 to
2 tenths. Good. Oh, I heard another 0 point. Remember, we got to sound like mathematicians. And plus, what's 2 times 1,000?
2,000.
2,000.
Woo. All right. I am sure, pretty positive, that we are at probably 4 or 5 different stages of comfortability, of being comfortable with this right now, okay? So that is it for the lesson part of today. So we are going to start on our homework. Our homework is page 29. The top part just wants you to write the decimal number for each word name. So you don't have to write expanded. You don't have to write powers of 10. All you're doing is taking the words and writing the number for it. these, why do they always do this and put things on here that we haven't even covered? These, you're writing the decimal number for. So we've done ones like 6 and 7, right? We did those yesterday. But on something like number 8, where it has a mixed number, what do we think that's gonna look like?
4.9 tenths.
Okay,
Yeah.
close, but let's think about how we're saying that, right? We wanna say it like a mathematician.
4 and
4 and 9 tenths.
And 9 tenths, right? My 9 is in the tenths place. 14, because that's my whole number, and 27 hundredths. So the whole number is just the part to the left of the decimal. And then to the right of the decimal is the fraction part. Okay? We also didn't really talk about this down here yet. So they want us to circle the value that's not equivalent to the other values. Here's something you need to know about decimals. Super secret, super important. It's okay if you share it with other people though. Anytime you are to the right of your decimal point at the end of your number, you can add zeros to the very end all day long, and it will not change the value of it. So what I mean is this first one, 2 and 6 tenths, that is equivalent to 2 and 6, I don't even know how to say this number. I am adding 0, 0, 0 all the way to the edge of my paper. These two numbers are the exact same. You can put zeros on there all day long, and it's still going to be equivalent. Because 6 tenths, well here, I'll make it a little bit easier on myself real quick to explain the why. That is equal to 2 and 60 tenths, or 60 hundredths, right? So I'm saying 6 tenths is the same as 60 over 100. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Because 6 times 10 is 60. 10 times 10 is 100. So they're equivalent. So you can add zeros all day long as it's just zeros and they're at the very end, they're equivalent. I cannot sneak a 0 in the middle there. That one right there is not equivalent to the others. Okay? 4 and 7 hundredths. 4 and 70 thousandths, those are equivalent, right? Because they just added a 0 to the end. 4 and 7 tenths, nope, that's not equivalent. Look, they switched the 7 and the 0. They're no longer equivalent. And just to check this one, 4.07 zeros, yep, they just added zeros to the end. That one's still equivalent. Okay, so putting zeros at the very end all day long does not change your value. Okay, all right. So, and then you have the back side of this page too, which is some adding, subtracting, fractions, estimating. Remember when we estimate, that's where we use those benchmark fractions. We round it to 0, 1/2, or 1. And then write these fractions as decimals. Okay, oh, and then look, stretch your thinking is the exact same concept as we had on today's stretch your thinking. So if you are good to go, you've got it, you can get this homework done, you may log off and start working on it. If you would like to stay on, I'm going to stay on, and I'm here to answer questions and work through it with you. If you've got it, but you just want to stay on, please feel free to stay on, okay? I'm not kicking anyone off yet. I will kick you off when it comes time for 10 o'clock recess, and then we'll be back at 10:20. If you want to go, you guys can go. I will see you later.
Bye.
Bye.